So today we're going to be looking at ticker symbol CLOV, another high short interest stock, also a meme stock, which has been trailing upwards quite violently in the last trading day of June 9th. There was a huge short interest on ticker symbol CLOV, and obviously the market responded to that short interest yesterday. Since then, it reached a high of $28.83, and then trailing back down to the 16.29 dollar resistance, which is very, very crucial. It has bounced off of this resistance twice now. These are the sort of indicators that I look for. Again, all the information that I am putting into this video is my homework. It is how I trade. I don't expect anyone to trade off of this information, but just to use this for their own knowledge. Now, CLOV is very interesting because there is a very high short interest on this stock. This company has one of the investments is by Chamath Palihapitiya, who is very well known. He also was part of the GME a short interest. He traded GME as well, profiting around $150 million off of that. So since then, there was a very, very high short interest. I think over around 40% short interest on CLOV. There was a massive upward price action movement all the way to 28. Since then, I guess the market moves in both directions. So we did see a bit of a correction falling down to the 16.35 resistance. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, because if it does break out of this resistance, and if obviously because the 40% short interest hasn't been closed entirely, that would mean that this would be a good indication to open up a position with CLOV for possibly today's trading day, just to see what sort of price action we can get. Usually when we have this violent upward price action movement, what I've sort of noticed is that we see a consolidation period, and then after this consolidation period, there's more violent price action movement upwards. Now, CLOV, if you don't know about this company, it's a healthcare investment company where you can get dental coverage, healthcare coverage, and prescription coverage for your medications, for sort of an insurance provider, a healthcare insurance provider. So right now it seems very, very interesting to be in this stock. A lot of people obviously took profits as well on the high of $28 because that was around the 90%, depending on where you are holding it from. For some people, it was a 100% gain. So obviously, profit taking was very provident. If when you see those type of gains, and it's very important to play your trade in with those strategies of taking profits. We have since then seen this correction coming down to the 16.33 that I mentioned before. If it does break this yellow trend line, we could see a little bit more downward action, but I do expect for this to again possibly either trail over here and then shoot upwards, as we saw right over here as well. But only time will tell. When we have short squeezes, one of the biggest strategies and information that you have to keep in mind is that fundamentals are slightly kept on the side when you're dealing with short squeezes. No one can predict when those hedge funds will close their positions, causing this violent upward price action movement. All you can do is wait and monitor that trade until you see that you have reached your price target and you are comfortable in taking the profits at those price movements. Now, if we were to look at stocks like, for example, like AMC or GME, the same sort of information that we can use, that sort of information, just to psychologically prepare ourselves if you are to get into this trade. You also have to have a strong stomach for this, because if it does fall, then obviously you see your profit and loss, and those goes they can violently also go downwards. But that is something that you have to psychologically prepare yourself for. But right now, for me, this is again my homework. This is my due diligence, which I just share on YouTube. I don't expect anyone to trade off of this information. But this, for me, the $16 is a very nice opening entry for CLOV. Uh, um, and if it does decide to consolidate, that is also very, very healthy for the stock movement. And because there's also a backing of a very prominent, very well-known investor. His name is Shamat Pilapatey. If you are not aware of him, you can always Google him. He's invested in numerous companies: Space, SPCA, Virgin Galactic, and a bunch of a few more companies as well. He's been a key investor, so he has a very good background in investing in companies, and he has his knowledge is immense in these areas. So obviously he does not want to see these companies fail. Now obviously the stock market plays in both direction. It goes in the upward and the downward action, so people play both movements. So if you're in this, some people are just playing the upward movement, whereas some individuals might be playing the upward and the downward price action movement for this. So you can just imagine how much profit individuals are able to make if they play both sides of the market. Now, if we're looking at the and focusing on the short squeeze, then we will only be focusing on the upward price action. That is my personal interest in this, looking at the upward price action. I do not play the downward price action in stocks. As of yet, I do not play it, but I am trying to grow my knowledge to become more comfortable in taking those positions. And then, obviously, once I become comfortable and confident in those trades, I will obviously start to play those movements as well. So for today's trading day, this seems to be a nice double bottom for the stock of CLOV, a good possible opening entry for myself, and then we can sort of see how this will trail for today's trading day, and I guess for this week's trading of CLOV. So it'll be interesting to see how this stock plays out. Um, just a few indicators we can pull up the RSI, which is in the oversold territory, which is obviously very, very expected. This is how sort of stocks move. So even by just looking at the RSI, because it's in the oversold, or at least touching this oversold territory, it seems to me like a good entry point to open up in CLOV. Now, this won't be a long-term investment for me. If I do open up a position, I'll be looking for those violent price action movement upwards, close my trade, and possibly play it in that action. So this is just my homework, which I'm just sharing with you guys on YouTube. If you do like this video, make sure just to leave a like, and leave a comment for any trigger symbols which you would like me to do some homework on, and I will try to get those videos out as well as soon as possible. Uh, and Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.